Hey guys, before we start, I wanted to show you my view. I am still on vacation. Feels so good to say that I'm on vacation, as if I've been doing anything serious, guys. For me to even have a vacation, I feel so guilty. But I figured there is another video that I'm putting together, which I'll upload later after this video. But for now, there's something that I just wanted to share with you guys because somebody shared the things with me and I want to pass them on to you for it to be a blessing too. But let me show you where I am. It's beautiful to me, so it might not be beautiful to you, but look at that, guys. We're living in, it's like our own little house. And I was joking the other day that I don't think that in heaven, or the new heaven, the new earth, that our houses will be this close to each other. We'll probably have more. We'll probably have like bigger yards, and let me fix this. We'll probably have like bigger yards. At least I believe so. You know, just like the way it is in the country for most people. So, all right, I think we can start. So what I wanted to share with you guys today were some of, I don't want to call them my favorite preachers, but some of the preachers that God has used in my life to bring me where I am today. You know, God, He'll either work with us directly or will use other people to reach us, right? So, but before I go to that, I wanted to give you a list of books that if you have Amazon on you, that please get these books. They will bless you tremendously. Okay, so I'm going to start with some of the books that I think you guys can read and that will bless you. I'm going to start with the book Evidence Not Seen. I found it on Amazon. It was, I believe, less than $10 if I recall correctly. And this book, guys, let me just tell you, it is life-changing. It just showed me the different side of missionary work. If you are someone who really loves missionary work or is contemplating missionary work, then you should probably read this book. Everybody knows that the life of a missionary worker or a missionary person, if God allows it, is not the most glamorous life. Since if it's full-time missionary especially, and especially if you're going out in different parts of the world where the gospel has not reached the people as extensively, then you know that that's probably a poor country or a country where living situations aren't that great. And this woman was caught up in a world war and she was taken into prison for 10 years. For 10 years, basically, she was in this whole, a situation that I don't know if most of us would have survived, but she did by the grace of God. And it shows her personal walk and the relationship she had with God whilst in the midst of this circumstances. And the other book is Circle Maker. There are two different versions of it. There is one where it's a 40-day prayer challenge. That's the first one that I read. It really changed my life. I did this with my best friend. You actually need to have someone to do this with. It can be a group of people, but I prefer to do it with someone who I was close. And it explains to you that, okay, we're not saying that after 40 days, you know, huge things will happen. They might, if God allows it, if it will glorify Him. But it really just challenges you to pray about even the minute details of your life that you're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And I personally saw just how God worked in especially the situation that I had. The perseverance and the persistence in prayer that book really encourages you to have throughout the 40 days. And the other book is Acts of the Apostles by Ellen G. White. I don't know how many have read this. I would suggest you read this book while you're studying the book of Acts. I have somewhat read this book before, but you know, when you've read, even people say they've read the Bible like once or twice. They do this thing whereby they read a chapter or whatnot each month throughout the rest of the year or whatnot. I don't know how that works. And it's amazing that I always say that if I was to read the whole Bible, why would I want to read it again? But I'm beginning to see that God always opens up our understanding to greater heights. And the things that we get from a verse, if you were to study a verse and God gave you some understanding for that particular day, that's not the same understanding He'll give you the next time you read it. There's always more to it. The understanding we get from the Bible, guys, it's just basically crumbs. If you remember that story of the woman who was asking Jesus for help, I think it had to do, was it with her son or something? And then Jesus said that I cannot feed, I do not give food to the dogs first. I give them first the kids or something like that, the children. And then she was like, yes, but even the dogs eat the crumbs from, the feet of the master or something like that. And Jesus remarked that that woman had great faith or something like that. And it's basically, it also applies to how we read the Bible. Our understanding, the things that you get when you study the Bible, that's nothing. That's basically crumbs. If God was to really just open our minds to understand the whole of His Word, I don't even think we'd be able to sustain all that knowledge. He basically gives us what we can handle, like little by little. You know what I mean? It's amazing. Okay, so when it comes to the people that God used or has been using in my life, Pastor Randy Skeete, that man he's like a father. Even the way he preaches, he's like, not even a father, like a grandfather. He talks like a grandfather, the way a grandfather would, when chastising you, when rebuking you, when you've done something wrong. You can feel the sting of his words, but in this loving, soothing way. That is one of the people that God used in my life. If you have a chance, check out his sermons. I remember even when it came to my changing of dress, of course I'm sure God was working on my heart even prior to that, but when I heard about his sermon, which was in connection with the first video that I've done on YouTube about wearing no makeup, it was connected with also dress. And other than the issue of dress, that God used him to just convict me my goodness, I'm sorry. Other than the fact that God used this man to help convict me in terms of my dress and makeup and just the way I present myself as a Christian, it also really challenged me. He has this thing of challenging the youth, and he really targets youth. He has a way of course he says that as long as you're in the Lord, you're still a youth, but he has a way of challenging the youth, and he tells the youth that you have to learn to stand alone, stand by yourself, because that is, I think, one of the things that a lot of young people face when they're about to make a decision. They know they'll face challenges with family, with friends. They feel like they're going to lose a lot, and God has used him to just encourage young people to make a stand for him, to make a stand for God, irrespective of the fact that that might mean standing alone, which is usually the case, unless God really has allowed you to be surrounded by other people who are of the same faith and who God is taking on the same journey as you are, in terms of the changes you're making, and you have brothers or sisters to hold hands with in the same physical, like in the same setting, right? Unlike maybe if God allows you to be by yourself, and then you just need to reach out to other people, be it text, phone, whatever. But at the end of the day, it all glorifies him. We're all placed where we are for a reason. So if God allows you to be where you are, you do not have someone who you can talk to physically, or to go to church with, or to do the same changes you're making with, God has allowed it for a reason. It's probably even going to help you character-wise than if you had somebody there physically to walk with. It's probably just to strengthen you in your journey, to rely just on God rather than to depend on other people. And the other person is veith. Veith, if you like reading about how the church began, the history of Reformation, and our walk as Christians from the time of the Israelites to where we are now, then veith is your guide. If you have questions about church and why we have so many churches and why this church does that or why this church does this, veith is definitely the person you can look up his sermons. One of the presentations or series that I love about him, that I loved of his, was Total Transformation. There's Total Onslaught, and then there's Total Transformation. Total Transformation was my favorite. I think it hit close to home for me, and he just has, God has blessed me with so much knowledge, and it's just one of those presentations you want to watch over and over again, because you will get it the first time, but you need to understand it even more. You know what I mean? So there's Water Veith, and the other person who recently I have enjoyed, not too recent, is Dwayne. I had been contemplating on doing medical missionary work and like full time, and one of the things I started doing is reading more and watching more presentations relating to medical missionary work. And Dwayne had done a series in at Eschete entitled True Medical Missionary Work. All this that I'm saying, I'll leave a link in my description box, and I think there are 5 videos of him explaining what true medical missionary work is, and you will really enjoy it. And I really felt rebuked to analyze and search in my heart what were my reasons for wanting to do medical missionary work, and just everything that God says in his word. And the other person is Henry Wright. Henry Wright, guys. Henry Wright. Ha. Henry Wright, guys. I don't even know what sermon to give you regarding Henry Wright. Henry Wright. Just watch any of his presentations, okay? You will be blessed. You will be blessed. I'll just put in the description box a link of one of my favorite sermons of his. I am not promoting these people. I was not asked by them to promote this. I'm really just sharing the things that I have been blessed by, the people that God has used to bless me, and I also just wanted to share those blessings with you. Hence why I'm doing this video. So, otherwise, be blessed. God bless you, and stay faithful, stay true, and remember, God will in no wise cast out anybody that comes to him. So until next time, bye.